A very good morning to you all. This is Dr.J.Mekala Devi, Assistant Professor, Department of History. So, in this session, we are going to discuss about the administration of Chalukyas. The main objective of this program is to understand the rule of Chalukyas of Badani, and it emphasizes the moral values, the development and the practical skills. It gives an immense information about the contribution of Chalukyas of Badani. Introduction. The Chalukya dynasty refers to an Indian royal dynasty that ruled large parts of southern and central India between the 6th and 12th centuries. During this period, they ruled as three closely related but individual dynasties. The earliest dynasty, known as the Badani Chalukyas, ruled from their capital Badami from their middle of 6th century. The Badami Chalukyas began to assert their independence at the decline of Kadamba kingdom of Banavasi and rapidly rose to prominence during the reign of Pulikesi II. After the death of Pulikesi II, the eastern Chalukyas became an independent kingdom in the eastern Deccan. They ruled from the capital Vengi until about the 11th century. In the western Deccan, the rise of the Rashtrakutas in the middle of 8th century eclipsed the Chalukyas of Badami before being revived by their descendants, the western Chalukyas, in late 10th century. Those western Chalukyas ruled from Basavaklian till the end of 12th century. The significance, the rise of the Chalukyas marks as an important milestone in the history of South India and a golden age in the history of Karnataka. The political atmosphere in South India shifted from smaller kingdoms to large empires with the rise of Badami Chalukyas. For the first time in history, a southern kingdom took place and took control and consolidated the entire region between the Kaveri and the Narmada rivers. The rise of that empire also saw the birth of efficient administration, rise in overseas trade and commerce, and the development of new style of architecture called Vezara. Around the 9th century, it also saw the growth of Kannada as a language of literature in the Jaina Puranas, Veerashaiva and Brahmanical traditions. Further, the 11th century saw the birth of Telugu literature under the patronage of Eastern Chalukyas. Sources. Inscriptions constitute the main source of information about the Badami Chalukya history. The important among them are the Badami cave inscriptions of Mangalesa, Kapi, Arabata record of 700, the Kanchi Kailasanada inscription, Pattadakal Virupaksha temple inscription of Vikramaditya II. Xuanzang, a Chinese traveller, he visited the court of Pulikesi II. At the time of that visit, he mentioned in the Aihole record, Pulikesi II had divided his empire into three Maharashtras, or the great provinces comprising of 99,000 villages each. That empire possibly covered present-day Karnataka, Maharashtra and coastal Konkan. Vidayapatti Bilhana, the famous poet in the court of Vikramaditya VI of the western Chalukya dynasty of Kalyana, mentions a legend in his work Vikramaditya Deva, Vikramanga Deva Charitra, which has been used to reconstruct history as well. The history of Chalukyas. Chalukyas of Badami in the 6th century, with the decline of Gupta dynasty and their immediate successors in the northern India, major changes began to happen in the area of south of Vindhyas, the Deccan and Tamilakam. Pulikesi I, he established the Chalukya dynasty in 550. He took Vadapi under his control and made it his capital. They ruled over an empire that comprised the entire state of Karnataka and most of Andhra Pradesh in Deccan. Further, Pulikesi II had been perhaps the greatest emperor of Badami Chalukyas. Pulikesi II extended the Chalukya Empire up to the northern extents of Pallava kingdom and halted the southward march to Harsha by defeating him on the banks of river Narmada. Later, the Badami Chalukyas went into brief decline following the death of Pulikesi II due to internal feuds. It recovered during the reign of Vikramaditya I, who succeeded in pursuing the Pallavas out of Badami and restoring order to the empire. The empire reached a peak during the rule of illustrious Vikramaditya II. Eventually, the Rashtrakuta Dandidurga overthrew the last Badami Chalukya king Kirtivarma I in 753. And the Chalukya, they revived their fortunes. The Chalukyas of Kalyani, they revived their fortunes in 973 CE after over 200 years of dormancy when the Rashtrakutas dominated much of Deccan. The reign of the Kalyani Chalukyas had been a golden age in Kannada literature. Tailapa II, a Rashtrakuta feudatory ruling from Tadavati 1000, overthrew Karka II and re-established the Chalukyan kingdom and recovered most of the Chalukya empire. This dynasty came to be known as the Western Chalukya dynasty or later Chalukya dynasty. The scholars, they widely considered Vikramaditya VI the greatest ruler of dynasty and his 50-year reign called Chalukya Vikrama era. Later, the Western Chalukyas went into their final dissolution 1180 with the rise of the Hoysalas, Kakadiyas and the Senas. The Eastern Chalukyas, Pulikesi II conquered the eastern Deccan corresponding to coastal districts of modern Andhra Pradesh in 616, defeating the remnants of Vishnu Kundina kingdom. After the death of Pulikesi II, the Vengi Viceroyalty developed into an independent kingdom and included the region between Nellore and Vishakhapatnam. After the decline of Badami Chalukya Empire in the mid-8th century, territorial disputes flared up between the Rashtrakutas, the new rulers of the Western Deccan and the Eastern Chalukyas. Later, the fortunes of Eastern Chalukyas took a turn around 1000 CE. Initially, the Eastern Chalukyas had encouraged Kannada language and literature, though after a period of time local factors took over and they gave importance to Telugu literature. And here I have listed the Chalukya rulers. Art and architecture. The period of Badami Chalukya dynasty saw art flourish in South India. It brought about some important developments in the realm of culture, particularly in the evolution and proliferation of a new style of architecture known as Vezara, a combination of South Indian and North Indian building styles. One of the richest traditions in Indian architecture took shape in the Deccan during that time, called Karnataka Dravida style as opposed to traditional Dravida style. The Kalyani Chalukyas further refined the Vezara style with an inclination towards Dravidian concepts, especially in the sculptures. They built fine monuments in the Tungabhadra, Krishna river, the Ob in present-day Karnataka. Badami Chalukyas, more than 150 monuments attributed to the Badami Chalukya and built between 450 and 700 remain in the Malaprabha basin in Karnataka. The rocket temples of Pattadakal, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Badami and Aihole constitute their most celebrated monuments. This marks the beginning of Chalukya style of architecture and a consolidation of South Indian style. In Aihole, the Durga temple, Ladakhan temple, Meguti temple and Badami cave temples provides example of early Chalukyan art. The Badami government. In this government, first we are going to discuss about army. The army consisted of infantry, cavalry, elephant, corps and a powerful navy. Rashtrakuta inscriptions use the term Karnadapala referring to their powerful armies. The government levied taxes called Hedjunka, Kirukula, Bilkod and Panaya. Coinage. The Badami Chalukyas minted coins of different standards compared to the northern kingdoms. The coins had Nagari and Kannada. They minted coins with symbols of temples, lion or boar facing right, and the lotus. The coins weighed 4 grams called Honu in Old Kannada, and it had fractions such as Fana and the Quartafana, whose modern day equivalent being Hana. Literally it means money. Thus the Chalukya era may be seen as the beginning in the fusion of cultures of northern and southern India, making way for the transmission of ideas between the two regions. This becomes clear from an architectural point of view as the Chalukyas spared the Vizara style of architecture, including elements of northern Nagara and southern Dravida style. The expanding Sanskritic culture mingled in a region where local Dravidian vernaculars had already become popular. During the Chalukya rule, the Bhakti movement gained momentum in South India in the form of Ramanujacharya and Basavanna, later spreading to North India. Thank you for watching this video.